Hey guys, it's me Jules, and today I'm going to be showing you some simple transitions I know and how to make them really smooth. So let's get started. The first thing you want to do is left click and click on composition settings, go to advanced, and copy these motion blur settings. For this first part, I'm going to show you how I do my twixtor and my settings, and basically twixtor is what you use to make the really smooth slow-mo for your clips, so here are my settings. First, you want to put the input frame rate to 7, change the alt motion source to the same listed as the color source. For speed, start to keyframe it and keep it at 100, then move 1 frame forward and change it to 80. Lastly, go to FG1 settings and put the motion sensitivity to 100. Next, I'm just adding the twixtor to the next clip. Next, you're going to precompose. You can press Ctrl-Shift-D or left click and press precompose, and follow these settings and click OK. Now we're going to add motion tiles, so go to Effects and Presets and type in Motion Tiles, and copy these settings. Next, I'm simply splitting my clips to where they line up by pressing Ctrl-Shift-D and adding motion blur to them. So now I'll teach you how to make a smooth zoom out transition. First, you want to click S on your keyboard and you want to figure out where you want to start the transition. I normally start it maybe like 1 frame in normally, but it depends on the length. So next, you want to go 1 frame out from the last frame and you want to put the value to around -95 to -65, depending on how wide or long you want the transition to be. Next, you need to ease your keyframes, so you can select them and press F9, or you can left click and go to Keyframe Assistant and press Easy Ease. Now I have this plugin called Flow and it helps me with my graphs, but for the sake of this tutorial, I'm just going to be using regular graphs. If you want a tutorial on how to use Flow, let me know. So now you want to select your keyframes and go to Graph. Make sure you're on Value Graph by left clicking this icon and selecting Value Graph. Once you do that, follow my graph. Now for the second part of the transition. Go to around the end of the clip and pick where you want the transition to end. Then go to the first frame of the second clip and set the value to 500. Next, you want to easy ease your clips, so you can do that by doing what I previously showed, or you can press F9, which is what I did, and then follow my graph. Next, I'm going to show you my favorite part of zoom out transitions, which is the warp. Click on New and press Adjustment Layer. And next you want to split them so they're both on each clip. Next you want to go to Effects and Presets and search up Warp. You want to change the warp style to fisheye, then you want to go to the last frame of your transition, click on Bend, and set it to -100, then go to the beginning of your transition and set it to 0. Next, easy ease your keyframes and follow my graph. Next, select the second part of the adjustment layer and go to Effects and Presets and search up Optics Compensation. Next, make sure you click on Reverse Lens Distortion. Go to where your transition ends, click on the keyframe, and then go to where your transition started and set the input to 145. You do not need to graph this. Next, I'm teaching you a rotation transition. First, you want to click R on your keyboard and keyframe where you want the transition to start. Then go 1 frame outside the last frame and set the input to 210. After that, follow my graph. If you want the transition to go the other way, use the opposite values. For example, if I use 210, use -210. Next, you want to click on the second clip and go 1 frame out of the first frame. Then you're going to keyframe that to -230. Then go to where you want the transition to end and keyframe it to 0. After that, follow my graph. Next, I'm teaching you my favorite rotation zoom out transition. For this transition, there isn't much to explain. Basically, what you want to do is mix the zoom out and rotation transitions to get a zoom out rotation. Next, I'm going to be showing you how to do an X slide transition. First, you want to click P on your keyboard, and then you want to left click on positions and click separate dimensions. Then you want to keyframe where you want your X slide to start. Then you want to drag the clip out until you can barely see it on the screen. After that, then you're going to graph it and follow my graph. Next, you want to click P on your keyboard and do the same thing with the separate dimensions, and then you want to keyframe where you want your clip to end. Then you're going to go one frame over the first frame and you're going to drag the clip to the end of the screen from the opposite side that you originally did. Then follow my graph. Lastly, we have a Y slide transition. First, you want to click P and then do separate dimensions, then keyframe where the transition will start. Then drag the clip to where it's no longer visible on the screen and drag that keyframe over one frame to where the last frame is. Then follow my graph. Next, go to your second clip and click P and then keyframe where you want the transition to end. Then go one frame over the first frame of the second clip and drag that clip down from the opposite side of the one you dragged previously until it's no longer on the screen. Once again, follow my graph. Hey guys, it's Jules, and I hope you enjoyed this. If it's a little too confusing for you, just feel free to DM me on Instagram and I'll gladly go more in depth and help you really understand the transition. But I really hope you enjoy. If you want to see something else, go ahead and request it, I'm here, but thank you so much for watching this. It's really poorly made, but thank you.